For today's story time, we are reading Otis and the Puppy. This is written and illustrated by Lauren Long. He's the author, which means he wrote and he's the illustrator, which means he drew that's right. Otis is a tractor.
I remember that.
Let's check it out. It was springtime on the farm where the friendly little tractor named Otis lived. The flowers bloomed, the trees were filled with leaves, and the farm buzzed with the joy of a new season. There were fields to plow, crops to plant. Otis was right in the middle of it all, working hard. Put, put, puttity chuff. You guys say it. Put, put, puttity chuff.
Owie.
Put, puff, puttity chuff. When the workday was over, Otis, the little calf, and their farm animal friends loved to play hide and seek. Otis loved to be it. He would count 1 putt, 2 puff, 3 puttity, 4 chuff. And his friends would run to hide. When he reached 10, it was game on, and Otis motored here and there looking for all his friends. The bull, the calf, the ducks, the horse.
They haven't even hide yet.
They're running to hide because Otis is counting. Sitting in your chair. He found the little calf hiding in a deep thicket of wildflowers. He found the ducks hiding in the mud pond. And he found the bull hiding in the haystack. Nice remembering. Pile of hay. Otis and the animals would play until the sun went down behind the trees and disappeared, making sure to be home before it got dark.
Is the cow can't fit the haystack?
He can't, he's too big. Look a big bottom.
Stupid, Dad. Go back home.
One evening, sitting in your chair so all friends can see, the farmer gathered everyone around up in front of the barn and gently placed a burlap sack on the ground. The sack began to wobble and tumble and roll, and then it sat up, stretched to the sky, and went. What could be in there? Then out popped the head of a little puppy. He shook his ears and raised his head to the sky and yelped another. Then he burst out of the sack and romped around, greeting everyone with wet, nice remembering, yeah, that's right, wet kisses. He wriggled from head to toe, and his spotted tail wiggled and wagged and wagged and wiggled. The farm animals smiled as they watched their new happy friend.
Puppy.
And then, as quickly as he had jumped out of the sack, he wobbled over to Otis, leaned on his tire, yawned, and slouched and fell asleep.
What is that racing again? What is that racing again?
It's a burlap sack.
Oh. A burlap sack.
Yep. There's sacks that are made of burlap. It is itchy. It's scratchy. The farmer put an old doghouse in front of the barn, scooped up the sleeping puppy, and placed him in his new home, and said, "Good night, little pup." Otis, the little calf, and all the animals filed into the barn for a good night's sleep. Otis yawned, and nestled into his stall. He was thrilled to have a little puppy on the farm, and he smiled as he drifted off to sleep. Put, puff, puttity. All of a sudden, he woke up to a pitiful whimper.
The puppy's doing
The
that.
whimper turned into a whine. And the whine turned into a yelp. It was the puppy. What's the problem?
Maybe it's made of the dog.
I think he's afraid of the dark. I think you're right. It was dark as midnight. Otis took a deep breath, clicked on his headlamps, and putted out to the doghouse where he found the puppy trembling with fear. He was afraid of the dark. You were right. With a chuff, 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 Otis invited him into the barn, where the puppy curled up and fell fast asleep. And from that night on, the puppy would slink in from the doghouse and into the barn with Otis, where he felt safe. Pup, pup, pup. It's almost quiet time.
Can I go pee?
After a day of working on the farm, the two friends would play hide and seek with the others. One day, while it was Otis's turn to be it, he sat counting to 10 while the others hid. 1 putt, 2 puff, 3 puttity, 4 chuff. But the puppy had something else on his mind. What did he want to follow?
A butterfly. Into the wood.
Into the woods? What will happen?
He's gonna get He's gonna be lost if he
Oh
can't.
my gosh, he will get
You know
lost. All right, hold on. Otis finished counting, peeled out, and motored here and there, putt, putt, puttity, chuff, swerving and darting and skidding as fast as he could to find his friends. He found the little calf hiding behind an old apple tree. He found the ducks in a scraggly growth of honeysuckle, and he found the massive bull trying his best to hide behind a lone dandelion. But where was the puppy?
He was in the woods.
He went into the woods alone?
Yeah, did that back row.
Otis and the animals searched high and low. Even the farmer came to help, but they couldn't find the puppy anywhere. He's scared and he's all alone. Finally, the farmer stopped the search. He said, "It's getting dark. Let's continue the search in the morning light." By the time they reached the barn, it was already quite late, and the animals all went straight to bed. They were worried.
I can see the trap.
My turn. They were worried about their friend.
I can see the tractor's smoke.
Putt, putt, puttity, chuff. Except Otis couldn't sleep. His heart ached deep inside his engine, and he knew how scared of the dark his new friend was. He was worried that the puppy had wandered into the forest. So he putted over to the barn door, looked out into the night, and sighed. Like the little puppy, Otis was also
Scared.
afraid of the dark. But he knew what he had to do.
Don't find him.
He's gonna go out on his own? What? He clicked on his and puffed out into the night. He did go out on his own looking for the puppy. You're right. Just inside the forest, Bruna. Otis stopped dead in his tracks. The sounds of the night crackled, thumped, and croaked all around him. His heart pounded, and he shook like a leaf. Every part of him wanted to turn around and head back to the farm, but he knew how his friend needed him. So he closed his eyes, and he began to count. 1 putt, 2 puff, 3 chuttity, puttity, 4 chuff. By the time he got to 5, he felt much calmer. And when he hit 10, it was game on. And he started motoring all over the forest, shining his headlights everywhere, looking for his friend. He peeled and motored here and there, swerved and darted and skidded and flashed his headlights everywhere in the dark. He circled, crisscrossed the forest, and made sure every possible place to check where the puppy might be hiding. Follow directions. Finally, his light shined on an old hollow log with a little spotted tail sticking out of one end. Do logs have spotted tails? What has a spotted tail? The puppy was whimpering softly, too scared to come out.
It was game on.
But when he heard Otis, he squealed with joy. And he wriggled and wagged and wiggled right out of the log. He squealed and cried and covered Otis's face with wet, sloppy kisses. Oh, Otis, it's so good to see you. I was so scared here in the dark. I'm glad you found me. Then the two friends began to make their way home. They stood tall together as they passed through the dark forest, brave friends together. And somehow the night sounds no longer felt so frightening to them. Look, Otis has got his headlight shining. The puppy is sitting on top of him. They're passing rabbits, squirrels, deer, all sorts of animals in the night. And on the farm, a warm, safe bed awaited them, and before long, a new day would arrive, full of bright sunshine and work and play. The end, as read to you by Mr. Bean and his group of... That's right. That is the end. There's the last page.